theme that I'm inspired to explore with you today is a common apparent obstacle to meditation, and that is that the mind is overpowering. The most important thing is to avoid going into battle with the mind and to remember that there are many ways of knowing that we have access to, and the mind is just one of them. So if you can imagine that your being is a round table with various participants, various contributors, and the mind is one. The feelings are another, sensations, the body, emotions, the heart, the soul, senses, and there's likely more than that. So you're at this round table, and essentially the mind is grandstanding. It might even be a little bit of a bully because it's so intent on its perspective. And one of the things that I think is really important to consider is that the mind is innocent. It's playing a role that we've allowed it to play for much of our lives because we've been conditioned that way. And it's truly trying to help us. It's trying to help us to find solutions. It's trying to help us out of difficult feeling states, out of challenging circumstances. And so we don't go into battle with the mind. We don't demonize the mind. We just recognize that it's only one perspective. It's only one way of knowing. And so meditation, one of the, I find, most direct ways of entering into meditation is opening to acknowledge all of the other ways of knowing, and slowly but surely, as we practice this, bringing them back online as ongoing informants, as ongoing revealers of truth, of ongoing participants in our view and perspective of this moment. And this practice serves, whether this is your first time meditating or whether you've been doing this for years. For me this morning, I had had a conversation yesterday with a group of women. We were planning my daughter's shower, and this morning the mind was extremely active with those details and just the different feelings that were moving through. And that's how this topic came to me. You know, it can be humbling at times when the mind is particularly adamant and it's like a dog with a bone. And let's see if we can give the mind a break, let it rest, and see if we can find a way to a more global perspective together. So leave the mind alone. Maybe you're finding too that you're in a current state of mental kind of overpowering, hard to get out of the mind, hard to let go of the thoughts. And so don't try to get out of the mind. Don't try to let go of the thoughts. Let's just put our attention elsewhere. And I like to start as far away from where the thoughts generally tend to happen as possible. And so we can drop our attention down into our feet if they're on the ground, or even if we're sitting cross-legged, we can bring our attention to the feet and just begin to open to that territory, to that realm. As you enter into the feet, or the buttocks, the legs, there will be various details that will arise from that. Perhaps you will feel a coldness or warmness in your feet. Perhaps you will feel a difference between the right and the left foot. You might feel your socks against your feet, or clothing against your legs, around your waist, around your hips, which are sitting in your chair. So you're opening to that. And this is where it's really important to be persistent, gently persistent, because the mind doesn't let go of its spotlight very easily. And that's the nature of it. In a way, you could say we've trained it that way. We've been trained that way because the mind has been so revered as a source of knowing. And so we bring our attention down into the legs, the feet, the buttocks, the hips, and we feel how they connect to the surface beneath us. We feel how they land, how they're being invited to rest down by the very surface that they're connecting to. And perhaps an awareness comes that we don't have to hold ourselves up quite as much as we are. We don't have to hold ourselves together quite as much as we are. That as we let go, as we soften, that we are held, we are supported. And again, even as I'm speaking, you may find that you kind of drift back up into the head, and that's okay. Be kind, be gentle, but be persistent, be committed. What else is happening here besides this groove, this mental groove that I'm in? What might my body have to share with me? What might it have to contribute to my experience of this moment? And it's just this very consistent coming back down when attention starts drifting into the mind, and remembering why we're here. We want to include our whole being. We want our whole being to participate in our life. That's why we've been given a body and feelings and sensations and emotions and a heart and a soul. They're all here to contribute in a way that is unique to each one of them. And as we settle into the lower half of the body, we might begin to feel a little more grounded, a little bit more at home. We might feel the system beginning to settle, like sand in a pond that's been disturbed, and it just... And we can allow ourselves to enjoy that sensation of settling. The breath is also a way of knowing. And so we can connect to that. We can just allow ourselves to include that in our awareness and feel that familiar rhythm. that has been with us from the beginning of our time here. Just feeling how that lands in your body, how it feels in your body without analysis. So be very vigilant about the mind coming in and giving its perspective on what you're experiencing. When we experience something in the body, we experience it raw, fresh, just without any commentary. And if the commentary comes, we just let that come and go. That's just the mind trying to come in through the back door and take control once again. And in time, the mind will quite enjoy being given a break from being completely responsible for your happiness, for your safety, for your understanding. It will come to really appreciate being brought back to what its true role is and being in a community with the rest of the parts of your being. So breath is rising and falling. And as it rises and falls, you will probably notice that it's sort of bumping up against areas of opening in the body, areas of kind of availability to the breath, of elasticity, right? So the body is moving with the breath. And you'll also notice that there's certain areas of the breath range that feel a little stiff, like that the breath is almost bumping into it and it's pushing back. This is a really interesting portal to go through. So we notice that, once again, without trying to fix it or even make it wrong. However the breath is showing up is right because it's here like this. And it is the way that it is in this moment, in the context of everything else. So noticing the breath and also noticing quite naturally that the breath reveals certain sensations in the body. You might even call them areas of tension, areas where we hold our stress. And here is an opportunity to include those areas. The most common reason I've found the mind gets super active is that there are energies and emotions and feelings that are being activated in the body. And we just don't want to be with them, or at least part of us doesn't want to be with them. We haven't yet learned to presence these particular areas of discomfort. And so to avoid them, the mind occupies us with its thought stream. And so when the mind is super active, it's actually a beautiful indicator that something in our sensory body wants to be tended to, is coming to the surface to be acknowledged, to be open to. So what is that for you now? Where are the areas of tension, the areas of softening? And include it all. just for the sake of highlighting those parts of our sensory being that do want to be included and acknowledged and integrated, call to mind a particular storyline or circumstance or area of your life that's been occupying a lot of mental space. Just do it just for a moment to help to bring forth those emotions or sensations, those tensions in your body. So notice when you go into the thought pattern, there is an activation. And now let go of the thought pattern and let's integrate and open to what was active, what has been activated in the sensory body. So we only use it as a tool to bring forth those energies that are causing the mind to be activated in the first place. So as we bring awareness to the energies and the sensations and allow those to have space, this slowly but surely lets the mind relax as well. So as you bring awareness to any areas of physical tension, energetic activation, so maybe one of your energy centers feels pretty active right now. Maybe there's a feeling of flow or vibration that's showing up. We just include it all. We're in the round table now, and we are letting every part of our being play a role, play its true role. So I'm just going to take a moment here to name a couple of the things that I'm noticing. And I do this because sometimes when we are sitting as a group together, there are common energies that get activated. It's like on some level, our souls have agreed to presence this particular energy. And it reminds us that these energies don't belong to us. These energies that we feel in our body, these emotions, these feelings, these tensions are really shared with all of humanity. And as we have the interest and are able to access the courage to presence these, it certainly creates more peace in our own lives. But I believe that it also creates more peace within our families, our communities, and the broader community. So noticing what you're feeling in your body and simply opening to it. There's this ongoing feeling of, you notice a certain something that arises, a detail, and there's this ongoing feeling of welcome. Welcome, the door is open. Of including. So notice how that feels in your own experience when you include that which just naturally arises. When no evaluation is needed, when no fixing is needed, when no explanation is needed. There you go. So at some point you will feel the dawning of more space in your whole experience. And there's a sense of relaxation that comes with that. A sense of peace. And it's very enticing for the mind to let itself, to give itself to this. Or you let yourself steep in the simple spaciousness of presence. The deep availability of awareness. The more we let ourselves steep there, the more the mind is naturally drawn to join that, because it simply feels better. So we're going to rest here for a while in silence. Letting go of my words and orienting towards the spaciousness of simply being and allowing. Namaste.